You're watching Alabama's WVUA News at 10.
Tonight on the News at 10, Tuscaloosa County and Northport residents voted on a Sunday alcohol sales referendum. We'll tell you which area passed it and which one put the iron fist on Sunday alcohol sales. Also, how exactly do businesses feel about the Sunday alcohol sales issue? We've got the story on how they think this will affect their business. Hello everyone, I'm Claire Huddleston. Thanks for joining us tonight. Northport residents have voted in favor of Sunday alcohol sales, while Tuscaloosa County residents voted against the referendum. In the county, about 39% of the votes were in favor of the measure, but an overwhelming 61% voted no. In Northport, 56% voted yes, that's 55%, and 45% voted no. WVUA's Matt McCoy has reaction from officials in both Tuscaloosa County and Northport.
With the numbers in and the ballots cast, Northport and Tuscaloosa County leaders are dealing with the cards they were dealt.
The citizens of Northport went to the polls tonight and voted yes, and that's going to help our businesses, existing businesses greatly, but most of all, it's going to help encourage new business. Businesses like, well, there's several major restaurant chains looking at the Tuscaloosa Northport area.
As far as the county government's concerned, it won't have a great deal of impact on us. The biggest loser, it will be the sales tax.
Tuscaloosa County probate judge Hardy McCollum says one thing the county needs to be prepared for is the possibility that parts of Tuscaloosa County will annex into Northport or Tuscaloosa.
I think that we will experience a good bit of annexation, particularly in maybe Cottondale, South Tuscaloosa, around the lake. I think we'll see a good bit of it, quite honestly. Anytime businesses choose not to be located within the jurisdiction of the county, it will have a negative impact on our budgeting process.
Northport Mayor Bobby Herndon says if his city would have voted no, they would have survived, but it would have been a deeper hole to climb out of.
Everybody knows we had to lay off 19 employees last year. Everybody knows we're not funding any agencies. We have needs in the fire department, the police department, the public works department. For us to have gone in and voted no, knowing that it's going to affect us financially very badly, it's not reasonable.
Mayor Herndon hopes to be able to sell alcohol on Sunday in Northport by the first football game next weekend. Reporting in Tuscaloosa County, Matt McCoy, WVUA News.
Northport city leaders have discussed earmarking revenue from Sunday alcohol sales for schools inside Northport city limits. Hardy McCollum says county schools will suffer because of the no vote tonight. Tuscaloosa County may have turned down Sunday alcohol sales, but for some Northport businesses, the new law means more business. Many national restaurant chains avoid building in areas that don't have Sunday alcohol sales. When the city of Tuscaloosa passed the same law earlier this year, many Northport restaurants were scared of what might happen to the overall sales for Sunday. WVUA spoke with the general manager of Applebee's in Northport tonight. He says nationwide it's very unusual for Applebee's not to sell alcohol on Sundays.
We're only one of 3 stores that do not have alcohol sales on Sunday. So I lose a lot of business, especially at college game day weekends. I lose a lot of business on Sunday. And this would help my business tremendously if we pass this law.
Because the referendum passed in Northport, businesses with the appropriate licenses can sell alcohol on Sundays from noon until 9:30. This is the same time as Tuscaloosa's ordinance. Polls opened at 7 o'clock this morning, and poll workers say they saw a steady flow throughout the day. Results indicated about 16% of registered voters in Northport went to the polls today. That number is about 10% for Tuscaloosa County. Poll volunteers say it started out a little slower in the morning, and then traffic picked up around lunchtime and when people got off work. Northport voting supervisor Gene Carlson told WVUA there are several things that can affect the turnout.
Well, it depends on what the election is about, we were not expecting a whole lot, but we were hoping that people would turn out.
It's been nearly 5.5 months since businesses in the city of Tuscaloosa started selling alcohol on Sundays. Business owners say Sunday alcohol sales have contributed to an increase in revenue and more customers. Chuck's Fish, which used to be closed on Sunday, now opens for brunch because of Sunday sales. Other restaurants have followed suit. Willhagen's owner Bill Lloyd says he anticipates even more traffic during the NFL football season.
With the people coming in on Saturdays for the game, they're more likely to stay around on Sunday, relax a little bit, get something to eat. Some of the folks that are riding with them might want a Bloody Mary or a mimosa or something. And the people that are coming out, they're just wanting to see Sunday football, and not just at home, but they're going to come out and enjoy the experience.
Local business owners say the downtown Tuscaloosa area is a lot busier on Sundays since the referendum passed. Tuscaloosa's downtown skyline could soon be changing. City leaders want to see a new hotel built on top of the old City Fest parking lot at the intersection of Greensboro Avenue and University Boulevard. Tonight, the Tuscaloosa Finance Committee heard from the last of 3 companies vying for the project. Wilson Hotel Management presented a plan for Embassy Suites, but they say it could be any upscale hotel. Tuscaloosa's Director of Economic Development says having a hotel in the downtown area would really add a lot to that area.
I think any of the 3 that have responded to our proposal, any of those 3 concepts are not only viable, they're long overdue for the home of the University of Alabama.
The Finance Committee will discuss all 3 presentations in next Tuesday's meeting. City leaders have been talking about building a hotel in downtown Tuscaloosa since 1985, when the city acquired the City Fest lot. Tuscaloosa County's Emergency Management Agency is getting a new home. The April 27th tornado damaged the old EMA building, so the agency is getting a new underground facility near Bowers Park on Hargrove Road. City Councilman Bob Lindell says the building will cost between $5 to $8 million, but most of that will be reimbursed to the city. Lindell also says the building will serve as more than just a shelter for the EMA.
We're looking at transferring our dispatch for fire and police from our police station, which is over at the main police station, over to the EMA building, and that will be in a secure area too as far as storms and so forth.
Lindell hopes the 16,000 square foot building will undergo construction really soon. Time for a first look at Alabama's home team forecast. Here's Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott. Hey, Richard.
Hey, Claire, still warm on this Tuesday night. Temperatures in the 80s, 85 degrees Birmingham, 81 degrees Tuscaloosa, 70s down in Demopolis, and some cooler spots to the north like Coleman, 71 Gadsden, and 72 in Haleyville. In Winston County, 74 degrees, and our bus stop forecast early tomorrow morning. For our Wednesday, got plans outdoors. Going to be a nice start to the day. Upper 60s likely area-wide. What about the rest of the forecast, though? And how about latest on Hurricane Irene? Could be some big-time problems for the northeastern U.S. We'll have the full details coming up in Maine weather.
A powerful earthquake rocked Virginia today, and tremors could be felt all the way from Atlanta to Toronto. Only minor injuries have been reported. The earthquake had a 5.8 magnitude. Experts say the quake was less than 4 miles deep. U.S. officials say there is no threat of a tsunami along the East Coast. A University of Alabama graduate who now works near the U.S. Capitol told WVUA what the earthquake felt like when it hit.
All of a sudden the room started shaking, and it was just this really deep, echoey feeling of something is moving this building. Cell phone service, obviously, when everyone tries to call their loved ones at the same time, is impossible. So as the panic thins out, certain things will go back to normal.
The federal agency says more than 12 million people live close enough to the quake's epicenter to feel shaking. On your home team Crime Watch, a Bibb County murder trial that began yesterday already has a guilty verdict. It took the jury 28 minutes to find Israel Sid guilty of Thomas Banks' murder. Last October, Sid shot Banks at the Board of Education construction site. Banks was a Navy veteran and left behind a wife, daughter, and grandson. Banks' family members were in court this morning when the jury announced the verdict.
We feel kind of happy about it. After it's over with, we all went over to the sawmill and eat together, and my son loved to eat, and we talked about how he would love to be there eating with us. It was sad, you know, that we did it without him, but we kind of celebrated his life. Court officials say Sid's sentencing will come later this year.
The mother of a Partlow patient is suing the state's mental health system because of her son's death. Barbara Prescott filed a lawsuit today saying her 49-year-old son, Anthony Roy Prescott, died last November because Partlow's staff left him unsupervised. Her son was severely mentally disabled and had a history of binge eating. He died as a result of choking on cheese crackers. The Alabama Department of Mental Health declined to comment about the lawsuit. Partlow is set to close in November, and 400 employees will lose their jobs. A federal judge has set a hearing for tomorrow morning to start determining if Alabama's immigration law is illegal. The Obama administration, a coalition of civil rights groups, and church leaders have filed lawsuits saying the new law is an unfair assault on civil liberties. Supporters and opponents say the new law is the toughest crackdown on illegal immigration in the country. Right now, the new law is set to take effect September 1st. An illegal immigrant who pleaded guilty to murder is now suing the Alabama county that handled his trial. Cenibio Sanchez says his court-appointed lawyer was inadequate, and he's suing several Houston County officials. His lawyer, paid for by tax dollars, says Sanchez wanted to plead guilty because he thought he would be sent back to Mexico. Instead, he was sentenced to 40 years in prison for the murder charge and 5 years for his fake Social Security card and work permit. Lamar County has some new jobs headed that way. The Roof Mart plant in Vernon is expanding and adding 200 new jobs. Alabama Senator Roger Bedford of Russellville says the new jobs are very important to the area. The county took a hit from the April 27th tornadoes and now has high unemployment rates. U.S. Congressman Robert Adderholt is getting to know his new constituents. Adderholt is currently the congressman for Alabama's 4th District, which includes Pickens, Lamar, Fayette, and Walker counties. In 2013, he will begin representing part of Tuscaloosa County. Today, Adderholt spoke at Indian Hills Country Club in Tuscaloosa. The Chamber of Commerce and Rotary Club hosted him at their luncheon. Earlier this month, Adderholt toured tornado damage with Tuscaloosa Mayor Walt Maddox. New freshmen at the University of Alabama haven't wasted any time getting involved in the community. We've got details on what they're doing for Tuscaloosa. And University of Alabama athletes and cheerleaders visited Cottondale Elementary to get kids pumped up about reading. And a Florida taxi cab driver has been charged in the death of former Alabama football player Aaron Douglas. Gary Harris will have details coming up in Home Team Sports.